Hey y'all, welcome back, and if you're new, thanks for stopping by. Today, I have an easy, quick, inexpensive, but cute DIY for you. I got this gingerbread house from the Dollar Tree and these little advent calendar treat boxes from the Dollar General for $3. I bought a 1x2 from Lowe's and it was around $2.67. First thing I wanted to do was measure and mark where I wanted to cut my boards. Using my miter box and saw, I cut the boards to the sizes that I needed. I cut one at 10 inches for the top, I cut two at 18 inches for the sides, 4 at 8.5 for the shelves, and one 14 inches for the bottom. If you decide to make one, feel free to use whatever tools you have. Once I had all my pieces cut, then it was time to clean them up. I took some sandpaper to it and gave it a good sanding. You can use a palm sander or whatever you like. Then I measured and marked where I wanted to nail it together. I used my cordless nail gun because I just got it and I've been anxious to use it. You can use a hammer and nails, or if you have a nail gun, it's even faster. I centered the bottom board, leaving 2 inches sticking out on each side. I left approximately a 3-inch gap between each shelf. Using a wood plank from a pack I bought at the Dollar Tree, I centered, then nailed it to the top of the back side. Well, that was a fail. So note to self, do not use a nail gun on these planks. The wood is too soft and it goes right through it. So I took it old school and attached it with hammer and nails. I added nailless sawtooth hangers to the back because I'm going to be hanging this on the wall. Then I painted it with a coat of Waverly's white chalk paint. Halfway through painting, I decided to go back in and add spackling to cover up the nails. The spackling that I have came from the Dollar Tree and it worked just fine. I used Waverly's chalk paint and hazelnut to paint the majority of the gingerbread house's background color. Then I painted the roof, windows, and trim with the white chalk paint. The hole in the roof is not going to be an issue, and you'll see why here in just a bit. I was undecided on the colors for the door, so I saved it for last. In the end, I went with hazelnut and white trim. I bought a tube of caulk from the Dollar Tree and added it to the roof for snow. I did the same for each of the windows, and then sprinkled some white glitter on top. The gingerbread house had lights engraved, so I thought I might bring them to life with some puffy paint and acrylic paint. So I added puffy paint to each of the lights and tried to keep the shape. No worries on anything at that point because it's all paint and I plan to touch things up where I needed to. Once it dried, I mixed my red, yellow, and green paint with some water and painted the puffy paint lights. I wanted them to seem like they were glowing. I wasn't too happy with it, so I went back and added some more paint to darken them up a tad. The jury is still out on this one, so you can totally skip this step by sanding it or filling it in before painting. I have these tiny wreaths that I got from the Hobby Lobby that I used on a tiny cabin I built, and I also used them on wagon wheel ornaments on a previous video. I'll link it in the description box if you want to check it out. So I just hot glued one of the wreaths to the door. I spread Gorilla Glue to the plank and I added hot glue to attach the gingerbread house so I wouldn't have to wait for the drying time. I took 2 bottle brush trees that I had from a pack that I bought at Lowe's and hot glued one to each side of the door. I had a pack of wooden sticker thingies that had candy canes, mittens, and stockings in it that came from the Dollar Tree. So I used 2 sets of candy canes and painted them with Waverly's crimson and white chalk paints. I added just a little highlights to show the shape of the bow. Then I hot glued the candy canes to each side of the trees. I took 2 larger trees from the pack and hot glued one to each side at the bottom. I added caulk in front of the gingerbread house and around the trees and candy canes for snow, and I sprinkled glitter on top. Now for the final steps. The pack comes with 4 boxes assembled, but the rest you have to assemble. I bend all the folds first to make it easier to close. I put in a mini candy cane and closed the top. The kit came with stickers, so I stuck them on the roof of each of the boxes. My thought process was to have the boxes turned to the side to see the numbers, and when the day is over, just turn them around. To fill in the spot for Christmas Day, I painted a wood cube from the Dollar Tree in the crimson red, then I hot glued baker's twine for the ribbon. I hot glued a bottle brush tree and the gift box to the frame, and this project is finished. If you would like to see more, click subscribe. Have a very Merry Christmas and thanks for watching.